everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I am your go-to Road to Kingdom dance analyst, and we are finally here. We are starting Road to Kingdom Ace of Ace with the Ace battles as well as the intro stages. So this is going to be split up into two parts for YouTube, but it's all going to be done in one go on Patreon, and you don't have to wait if you are on Patreon. So I am just so excited to just be able to start in real time. I'm just through the moon on it, and I do intend on looking at the episode as well, same day, but it'll get released later on YouTube, hopefully, if the copyright doesn't kill me. So I think without further ado, I think it's time to get started. All right, next up we have Tempest. Find our lighthouse. MOTF choreographed lighthouse. So
Tempest.
I'm curious as to who audited it or if it's the same. Nice. Ah, cool. Nice. Woo! Whoever was in charge of that prop, they should have added more weights to the base of it. Actually, take that back. Because they needed it to come up. Never mind. I take back what I just said. Okay, so I do have notes to the choreographers. I don't know if the same people who choreographed it, like whose names are listed right here, was it Kim Bom and then Jung Chae-hoon, like those, I don't know if they're with MOTF. I don't know, but I noticed this, if they are not, and they were in charge of like auditing it, I can tell where this choreo was made for an odd number group, because they didn't calibrate the formation at the tail end to make it balance with your even number. Does that make sense? Now I have to like double check to make sure, like we're 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're operating at 6 and they originally were 7. I know this track was promoted as 7. I know that, but Tempest has to move forward as a group of 6. So something, if I'm being real, something as small as this, to me, I feel like we shouldn't have had this formation like this, where we have have somebody missing, unless that was intentional in the sense of like we still want to let people know that we were 7. Like, I understand that intention, but to me, as a choreographer and as somebody who cleans and I audit other people's choreography and I audit my own, if I'm going from an odd number to an even number, which I just had to do this week for a performance this weekend, what you have to factor in is you don't want it to look off balance, or you don't want it to look like we're missing someone. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Especially, I know fans of Tempest are already very sensitive to that, and rightfully so. So for me, I would want this choreo and this formation to be set up for as much success as possible, but for me it just feels incomplete, and it feels like we didn't thoroughly audit it the way that we needed to for the collective unison, like, promotion of the full group, if that makes sense. It kind of feels like we're still lingering and we're not pushing forward as a group of 6. That's just my overall note on that. It is possible to go from an odd number to an even number. on a formation like that, absolutely, you split center is really what you do. But that's not what happened. You had a point, and then you had just too many people on one side versus having somebody either be sacrificed completely in the back or have them both split center. You still get a very simple visual. I feel like we didn't take time to do that, but I also, remember, we don't know how much time realistically they had to prep for this. We don't. And I think that's okay. So, unless you guys are a part of the lives, because I'm not, I don't really do the lives or anything where they talk through the show, and I don't know if they can talk about the show until it's over. I don't know any of that. Anyway, but leading up to that was really cool. I liked a lot of the choices of the light. I was a bit worried about that light coming up because I've used props that have weight-bearing kind of utilization on them, so I'm very sensitive to the stability of it because I do work with dancers that are younger. So that's just my personal preference, sensitivities. So he goes, walks forward. Now, to me, I see this as a progression of the storyline that was set up in the Ace battle because I believe it's my same person that finished that up. A lighthouse helps guide ships, right? And we saw a pirate ship. We were out at sea. We're going on a journey. The lighthouse is, I've made it to my destination is what it feels like. So we're going to go off of that. I love the reach to the light. It's fun. It is giving a fun little La La Land vibe, but like in a cool way. Anyway, so I like this. I love the militant, that drive of the percussion. I love hearing it. It's very organic too. It matches very well with, the type of scenery we see. The drive is fun. They pull is nice. So they go, they grab. I love that the little kick through. Now, I think it was very smart how you had him. It showed more difficulty having him go over two members, but those two members were keeping that pole still for him to do that. Because I'm telling you, if he did that with no one assisting it, it would have fell over. So that was really good choreography, auditing, or getting it to where it calibrates to that. Like, that's really dope. They go, they reset there. So they grab. I love that little boom. Love the little throwback is nice. So they grab there too, and they're all stacking their hands. So I like that choice. Low to high, and then we travel it up. Da 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 da. So they all break their hands away. He goes and travels his hand up. Really nice. Cool. And then we have the light right there. Pan it over. And now it's a dropout, like, what is it? It feels like a reprise of the song Lighthouse, which is fine. It's cool. So they go, they grab him. They go and they take him off the ground, and then you have the lighthouse, I think, symbol that's up at the top. Take him, they do a little basket toss to have him drop low, and then boom, nice little reverb. It does feel, feels very large for the dropouts that we're hearing, but that's whatever. But it matches that boom. Yeah, I actually think it's fine. And they come back up, and I like how we have like a subtle transition going from the V, and we kind of into, well, no, it's a flip-flop, and then we convert it to a V, and then we go that which is really nice. They go punch, punch. We're here for that. And they go the turn up, and then they've caught him. He is off the ground. That's really nice. The stability of it is nice. And then from there, boom, he goes and shoots his arm up. It reminds you of what they just did on the light pole. That's cool. And he goes, twinkles the hand down. He goes that boom. The breath on that was really sick, and then the switch up of the arms was nice, and then you have one of them being assisted back, and he slides himself back, my previous feature, so that was really cool. And they go that punch, 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 and we go rotate around, and we drop it down. Let's go. Now that part, that did make me worried, just calling it what it is. Now knowing how they used it, I can get over that. But if, let's say, they never used it in that way, I would stand by what I said originally, which was have more weight on it to allow them to be able to do more stuff on it. But because they needed it to drop back, you can't have a ton of weight on it because it makes it even harder to have it drop. So I get that. I understand. And they did a pretty good job nonetheless. So like that's the only questionable choice. But it's still really cool though. But I wanted to focus on that 100%. But maybe that was his intention because how he pulled back on it, it felt like he wanted it to come up a little bit. Maybe it's that. And he hooks it and he goes around. And then from there, he drops it down. So he's anchoring down at the bottom, grabbing the pole to create a nice hit. And then he ends up just rotating to reset his feet. It does remind me of, we just saw it with the Aces. Who was it? The switch up. I think it was either my guy from CRAVITY or it was my guy from Tempest, maybe that, but I am familiar with that move, that little fixed pointed upper body with the rotation. Somebody did it. I forgot who it was. My bad. But he comes up. Look at that bridge recover. We're never going to get rid of those. I would probably be drunk by now, being honest, if I had to take a shot every time I saw a bridge recover in the course of these analysis. But hey, it's cool. And you can do a lot with it, as you saw. You know, we're seeing it in so many different ways. And goes and he grabs it at the top in order to catch it. Float it down. That's a cool visual. But he lost his balance. That's life. That's fine. So they go moving forward. Look at that logo. And they go, they fold it in. Boom. I like this little moment. Boom. I think that's cool. He has this moment. He presents it. And so he had to like adjust his hand to get where they set it up. So that's fine. And they go and they rotate that. Boom, boom. Now, is this one of their hand signs that they do? Maybe. But that does give that little whirlpool that you see in their logo, which is cool. Branch away. Baby, we have this moment right here. Now they are making it easier on him. He's not doing that all by himself, and he shouldn't. Let's be safe about this, guys. But they're assisting on the back end, making it where it's effective, and I like how from there they're able to very nice and seamlessly walk in the transition. That's a good transition. We like that. Ta-da! And I like how we twinkle it in. We're here for it. There's a little pot of array with a drop to set it up. And we go hit, 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 and I like that. We go out to our respective outsides. We go in, and then we reset up. Come on. And we go take a T. Come on now. And we go, they bridge it. I love that fullness. And he has his moment. Boom! At the top. Honestly, that's impressive of the fact that that didn't fall over, and he grabs it at the top. Like, that's really cool. Cool. Which is nice. We run. Come on, Hanbin. But then my note still stands, as you can tell. It feels incomplete. And we can't say, oh, it's a group of 6, get them some slack. Like, we will absolutely cut them some slack, because this is the first time that they are operating promotion-wise, promoting the group outside of dance practices as a group of 6 and a lot of these, like, all of their discography was calibrated for a group of 7. All of it. Even the Japanese ones, my marathons, everything. So even with Lighthouse, it makes sense why it's still hard to calibrate it from 7 to 6. Their newer stuff moving forward is going to be easier in the structure of getting them as a group of 6 to look more balanced in that way. But I'm going to tell you, if you want a good reference on just because you have an even number to the choreographers doesn't mean that we're just going to pull an off balance often like this. It's the first time we're seeing them do an actual dance side thing without interpreting with the lamppost, and we chose to go with an off-balance formation. Some people, it doesn't bother them. It bothers me because I understand that they didn't always operate as a group of 6. Very rarely. If you watch a group like Astro as a group of 6, they were able to have, and that's a choreographer thing more so than anything, is how you saw their formation structured. It didn't feel like an even number. This is the kind of stuff I talk about whenever you have even versus odd. When I'm first introduced to a group, is odd numbers, you're going to have an easier time on symmetry and balance, and this is why. Does that make sense? So I think that's still my big note on this, is to the choreographers continuing to work on them. If it's MOTF, that's my note to MOTF. If it's to whoever else, especially if it's not their choreo, I get it. As somebody who also is in that position, if we're choosing to do our own discography again, which I know may happen, which is cool, we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful of, like, yo, we want to keep it, make it interesting, and make it look like Tempest is meant to be a group of 6. I think that's the right thing to do, and right by them is kind of how I feel on this. Very long-winded, but that's kind of like my in general. And they go the over, so now it feels like this, like, not EDM, but it definitely feels like an EDM remix. Like, we're up at the club hanging out, and then they're doing, it looks like they're doing the original choreo, and they hit, accents it off, and then they drops it out, which is nice. They go spit it out, nice little punch, boom, and you hear a nice accent on the tail end of that, which is nice. In the pools, I like the opposition of that. Now, this is a very interesting thing to talk about, right? Because how they hit up reminds you of the boys when they did the clicking, ta-ta-ta, ticking clock on Danger. That's a plagiarized movie. I already talked about it. If you don't know my opinion on that, go check it out on Patreon. I pull up the receipts, guys. Like, it was a very big deal to me, and it bothered me a lot. But it's not on the boys. That was on Mihawk. I called him out for that. Anyway, but whenever you have everybody hop up like that, having somebody go over, it's going to give that impression again. But he slid through. That feels different in how you normally expect or you predict this choice to happen. So for me, I liked it because it wasn't predictable in comparison to seeing this move done the way that I have in the past, is kind of my point. So it's very interesting. The slide is cool, but also he didn't technically go underneath. He went in front of them, but it gave the illusion that he went underneath them, which is cool. And do a little slide, and they reset. Now this part, this is what I'm talking about. This is an appropriate formation that ties together a group of 6. But then you notice we drop the ball again and we go to an imbalance formation. And you'll see it because I touched on it already. They go down and up, and they go hit up. Just kidding, I lied to you. Maybe he was just off. But yeah, even here, I mean, I would say boom, boom. Maybe they're splitting center. I mean, if this is your respective center, he needs to scoot over a little bit if they're supposed to split center because your lighthouse is your center. So I still stand by that. Y'all may be like, Jess, you're too critical on that, or you're doing too much on that. Y'all, you have to understand, like, there are certain things that bother me more than the average Joe, and that's okay. I've learned I have to live with that. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to die on that hill either. I'm very open to getting over it. And it doesn't mean that what they're doing is not good. I love what they're doing. But remember, it's a competition. So I have to be constructive in certain areas as to why they could factor into what ranking they receive. But this is a whole subjective, you know, subjective XYZ. Like, who knows how any of these are going to rank. I'm going to know that pretty soon, but it's, you know, anyway. Yeah, all that. It feels like the original choreography. And we didn't even fiddle with the formation. That's a note. The rotation is fine. We hit it. Yeah. So it was cool. I mean, the ending felt fine. It was nice. It felt very redemptive. It felt really cool. But it doesn't feel like a fresh start yet to me, unfortunately. So that's my note there. But also, it's because I know what I know. Now, if I didn't do my marathon and I was looking at them, I would still give the note that I did about the formation, for sure. But I wouldn't feel as probably emotionally invested as I do now, because I understand the hardship of losing a member and having to fix your entire discography. I mean, ONEUS has to do it. TEMPEST has to do it. Who else? Oh, there's one more group. CRAVITY's fine. They have everybody. YOUNITE also has to do it. So you have almost half of your lineup. They have to recalibrate everything. And the crew one, because you have all these people that they're all used to operating separately. So it's my heart really goes out to that. Like that sucks to have to like look at your discography and go, oh, this is really calibrated to 7 people, but now we have to drop it to 6. Like, that's hard, you know, but that's something that you have to go through, unfortunately. Beautiful, cool. Oh, that laser's really cool. Nice. Nice. Heavy camera on this. I'm sorry, you're a fan cam. Back up. Yeah. This camera, it is not your job to zoom in. We need to see the whole thing. Come on. They are a bit imbalanced in fullness, though. So that's my note there. That was still nice. Cool. Whoa. Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for watching this with me. Some of you guys have made it all the way through from the tip top of the ACE analysis all the way through here. If you're on Patreon, more power to you. I'm shocked myself I made it through. But this makes me so excited. I hope you're excited to watch the episode with me. My goal is episode 1 will be released to the public, but all future episodes are going to be exclusive to paid members on Patreon. But I will have a group chat on Patreon. You do not have to be a paid member. It can be a free member to join and be a part of the discussions. I'd love to meet you there. Rep your fandom. I also want to hear more context. What's going on in the neck of the woods of all the fandoms? Is there any beef that's going on? Anything that's starting to stir that I can help kind of alleviate or put fires out on? I hope I was able to kind of cover some things here. But remember, I am team everyone except Mnet for this. I want everybody to grow. I want everybody to experience celebrations. I want everybody to experience, you know, growth and safe hardships. Yeah, like the challenges, I don't want to be left with PTSD like what we've had from other kingdoms. I want to be able to put my best foot forward and help be an advocate for groups. And I hope I was able to be clear or constructive, but still show that I really do care about these groups and that they are people. And at the end of the day, who freaking cares about the rankings? Did they feel good about what they did? And I want them to be able to celebrate that. So I'm excited for the discussions on all of this. You guys know me, I know you. I am Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.